right. Good Friday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson. Let's go in and talk about the weather for your Friday evening going into your future. Obviously, as you can see by the title, and the screen right now, and as the countdown just went away, there is indeed a potential for snow in November. Now before you're like, okay, where's the area? We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. But first, like we always do, we have made it to Friday evening. Let's go and give ourselves a round of applause. Made it all the way to the weekend, pretty much. And we just gotta get through, obviously, just tonight, and then it'll be Saturday for us. So that's something good to look at. That, and then also, as well, as we just continue throughout this week, we also will get into. Now, this week was already the full first week, so we'll get into the second full week of November as we go into next week. That forecast will be on Sunday evening. Make sure that you're there for that. Also, if you have not hit the like button yet, go ahead and do so. We right now have around 5 people watching, only 4 likes, so pretty good for now, but definitely make sure that you still go on and hit it if you haven't already. And if you're new and you have never hit the subscribe button before, go and hit the subscribe button. It's free, and you can change your mind at any time. And then share it with all the people that you know. So let's go on now, without further ado, and let's go on and get started with this forecast. We're not going to waste any time. Starting off, as we start off into this radar and see what's going on throughout the entire state of South Carolina, we do in fact have some rainfall going on. Rainfall going on over here near Bennettsville, also over here near Timminsville, Florence as well, getting in on some of that rainfall. And in terms of what's going on throughout the entire U.S., a lot of activity is going on. A lot of activity is. We have rainfall going on over here inside of Maine, going into New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Kentucky, also going into Tennessee and Virginia. Now, is some of that snowfall? Let's go ahead and check it out right now. It seems like for now, yes, in Maine, there is snowfall definitely going on over there. And another place where snowfall is definitely going on is up here inside of North Dakota. Also over there, potentially even inside of Wyoming and Montana. So those areas are receiving snowfall. Also rainfall going on in those areas as well for the most part. West looks relatively on the more drier side. There not only is rainfall going on in those areas, but also Georgia, Alabama, and Florida also are receiving some rainfall as well. Now, what about cloud cover? Cloud cover right now, we do in fact have some cloud cover going on in the upstate, some in the Midlands, some in the upper low country. And even as you go in and push this forward into tomorrow, that cloud cover will continue to push its way over towards the east. And then as you get into like early tomorrow morning, that cloud cover will still be there. That cloud cover isn't going anywhere. Even as we go into tomorrow night, cloud cover will still be here. Now, there are definitely pockets of clear skies, but for the most part, it looks like that cloud cover will stay with us until we get later into like the weekend. Current temperatures right now, 62 in Columbia as well as 60 in Orangeburg, 60 in Somerville as well as 63 in Georgetown, 64 in Murrells Inlet as well as 65 in Myrtle Beach, 61 in Conway, 60 inside of Florence, 60 in Hartsville, and 59 in Bennettsville, 65 also inside of North Myrtle Beach. We also have around 63 inside of Charleston, 62 in Greenwood and Aiken, and even around 59 in Greenville, 58 in Spartanburg, and 56 in Gaffney, 57 in York and Rock Hill as well as 62 in Clemson, 61 also in Anderson. Low temperatures for tonight, we're around 56 in Greenville, 56 in Spartanburg, as well as 57 in Rock Hill, 57 in Columbia, and 58 in Sumter, 56 in Florence, and even around 55 in Kingstree, 59 in Georgetown, and 61 in Myrtle Beach, 61 in Charleston, and 62 in Hilton Island, 58 in Aiken and Orangeburg, and even around 58 in Greenwood, 59 in Anderson. Now, in terms of precipitation for tonight, a good amount of precipitation, definitely in the upstates possible, 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch possible in Lawrence. Also, maybe even a 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch possible over there near Aiken, as well. And a lot of other areas, like potentially areas of Spartanburg, areas of Anderson, Greenwood, 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch, maybe even near Newbury as well. And so some of these areas definitely do have the potential. Now, what about the SC crazy score, the South Carolina crazy score? If you do have no idea what the crazy score is, the score that we see how crazy the weather is inside of the state of South Carolina. And we're at a 19 tonight. We're at a 19 tonight. Obviously, isolated showers will be ongoing. That, and then also mild temperatures. Clouds still be inside the sky, and there will be a frontal setup, weak shortwave and isotropic lift. Drive showers, elevated instability, also supports isolated storms as well. And speaking of storms, you look at this map right here. This was the map from earlier this morning. And pretty much the map doesn't really change too much. Here's the new one right here. New one right here for the most part still has that same thunderstorm activity. Not only as we go into today, but also the same thing for tomorrow as well. Thunderstorms possible for the entire state tomorrow for Saturday, November the 8th. And you think that we're done there? Absolutely not. It gets worse. On Sunday, November the 9th, isolated severe storms. Definitely with the chance. I've seen it say hail. Hail is a possibility. It also said some stuff, obviously, about damaging winds. Obviously, with a cold front, wind definitely is always usually the main factor. But in terms of what they've been saying so far, they're saying potentially scattered strong storms Saturday afternoon. There will be a little bit of a hail threat, and same thing going into Sunday as well. And so that's what we're just looking for as we go throughout this weekend. So going to be a stormy weekend for sure. Excessive rainfall, luckily for us, still nothing here. We have been lucked out in terms of flash flooding as we went through this past little bit, so we've been looking good there. So let's go on and talk about the models now. We're going to start off here. Time is in the top right corner of your screen. Make sure that you go in and pay attention to that, because that will be very crucial in when I am talking about it. As you go in and push this forward right now, you can see that, oops, that's the wrong one. There we go. As you go in and push this forward, rainfall moves its way into the state, 3 a.m. You can see shower, downpour activity moving into the upstate, moving down even into the Midlands, down into the PD, even around 7 to 8, maybe even 9 o'clock in the morning. You have rainfall, isolated shower activity moving through. And then even by around 10 to 11 to 12 p.m., you can see that it dries up a lot. As you get into the late morning going into early afternoon. I mean, the cold front, it still passes. Still does pass. But obviously this isn't the main front that we're going to be talking about, obviously. But it passes, and it brings some more rainfall, though. It looks like that it stays dry, but some more rainfall will come definitely after thunderstorm activity goes on. This is 5 o'clock p.m. right here on Saturday. Got a lot of shower, downpour activity going on, and with some thunder with it as well. Now, as you go all the way into 9 p.m. to 10 to 11 to 12 o'clock in the morning, there still will be some shower and thunderstorm activity going on all the way through into around 8 a.m. to when finally we will see some of this rainfall start to push away. This is Sunday morning right here, really start to push away and really go away. And there goes some snow. You can see up there inside of Tennessee, inside of Kentucky, inside of eventually Virginia and North Carolina. But for right now, all we're talking about for the short term, next 48 hours, some rainfall and thunderstorm activity. So everyone needs to be watching out for that. Now let's go on and talk about the long-term future. So obviously that area that I was just talking about, that's obviously not the main cold front that we're going to be talking about, or just the main area just in general, really. I mean, as you go in and continue to push this forward a little bit more, there goes the main cold front that we're going to be talking about around November the 10th. And you can see it brings cold air. You can see snow up there inside of the mountains of North Carolina. But you continue to push this way out, and you don't really see too much on this model in terms of snowfall. I mean, after this goes away, high pressure takes over, and it stays dry for a good little bit until around November the 18th, going into potentially even the 20th and the 21st, where we might see a little bit of a little system going on. in the little Gulf going into the Atlantic. Now, that is still November 23rd. That's still hurricane season. That's why I say, still do not take your eyes off the tropics, even though it's this late, because it does not end until December the 1st at 12 a.m. So make sure that you still have your hurricane plans in place just in case if something happens, because it's definitely not out of the question. And even as you go into November the 23rd, it kind of just moves out to sea. But I'll watch for that. It might just be a one-run wonder right there, to where it just only shows up for one run and then just goes away tomorrow or something like that. So we'll check. We'll keep on looking at that. But for the most part, the snow part, you don't really see anything. And so it just brings us a lot of cold air. Now, how cold will this air be? I know a lot of people probably are going to be asking. It's going to be cold. It's going to be Arctic cold. For us, at least, in terms of what we probably think is Arctic air. As you go all the way into November the 11th, going into November the 12th, and then obviously the 13th, it stays cool. But like I said, it won't last forever. Will not last forever. That will be a short but strong cold air mass that moves its way into the state as we move into like the early part of next week. And even past that, there will be another little front that maybe tried to make its way in before Thanksgiving sometime. Now, will it last all the way throughout towards Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving's on the 27th. So that will, we're still 4 days out from that happening. So way too far. That's like more than 400 hours. But it seems like the warmer stays. Now, in terms of exact temperatures, you see it push through. You start to see those cooler and more freezing temperatures up there in the upstate. Everyone else is still in the 40s, the 50s. It hasn't quite gotten to us yet. But high temperatures for November the 10th only gets up to around 50, 55 degrees. Continue this even further into the nighttime. This right here, the nighttime of Monday. Push this forward one bit. You can see around 32, 28, 27 in the upstate. We're not really too shocked to that. The upstate usually is the area that usually gets the coolest. But then you push it even further. This is 7 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday morning. Everybody pretty much is below freezing except for if you're near the coastal areas and some other inland coastal areas for the most part. But everyone's really going to be freezing as you go into Tuesday morning, Monday night-ish. And we're still not done there. Because if you go in and continue this forward, you only have high temperatures in the high 40s for the most of us as you go into Tuesday. Low temperatures will get down to, again, inside the 30s and 40s, maybe some freezing, but for the most part, still just stays in that 30 to 40 range. And then the warm air will push back in, and we won't really see too much in terms of cool air. And we'll have temperatures back in the 70s as you go into like November the 17th-ish. So the weather pretty much is just on a roller coaster for right now in terms of what the cold air going to the warmer, but that's what we expect for this time of year from when we go to fall to spring. That's just what we expect. And so now that that is out of the way, obviously the main thing that I wanted to talk about, I've seen people talk about it everywhere, and again, it's just a possibility, but you can see right here, snow in November. That is the main thing that a lot of people are talking about. And I'm not talking about just for like the, in North Carolina or Tennessee or Georgia. I'm talking about in South Carolina. So if we start off here, let me go into my soliloquy mode. If you want to look at the NAM 3 kilometer model, you go into precipitation. You go into rain and frozen precipitation. You go to rain and frozen precipitation. And you push this forward. Go all the way through, past these next couple of days. There goes that huge cold air mass. You can see it over there in the west. That goes all the way into November the 9th. And you see the snow up there inside of North Carolina. You see the snow up there in Tennessee. You see the snow up there in Virginia and Kentucky and in West Virginia. And these areas right here that you can see. But this right here ends 1 o'clock in the morning on November the 10th. And you can see snowfall is barely just crossing over the line, or getting close to the line at least, into South Carolina. Again, that is behind that cold front. The cold front hasn't even passed us yet at this point. The only places that it's really passed is in the upstate, and that's about it. Now, the Euro is another story as well. If we go into the actual rainfall map here, you can see the cold front right here. There it goes again, November the 9th going into November the 10th. And you can still see no snowfall in South Carolina. You don't even see rainfall for the most part. You continue all the way into November the 10th. And then you get into November the, around November the 10th at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. 4 p.m. How cold is it going to be at that time? They say that it's going to be possibly in the freezing conditions. And so that would account. And so you're seeing snow flurries all the way up there inside of the upstate. Now, that's just the upstate. That is just the upstate. And I see actually two pockets. I see one over there in like the more western side, the southwestern side. I see one up there right there on that border with South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. And then I see some over there near Rock Hill. Now, will this happen? We are 75 hours out. These models change every time. And so, will this happen? That's a great question. We're just going to have to continue to watch and figure that out for ourselves. And I know that a lot of people don't like it when I say that, but I really have nothing else to say except for we just have to continue to wait and see what happens with this one. Now, if we were to get any sort of snowfall with this, it probably wouldn't be much. I mean, you can see like this little dusting right here. Probably wouldn't be much. If it accumulated, it would be like a very small amount. So this is not any like big major snowstorm that I'm talking about. But is snow possible in November? That's still the question that we have to answer. And it would be especially early for this time as well. Now I know, in the mountains and all that kind of stuff, they definitely probably get snowfall more than a lot of us on the lower areas. But if we see snowfall outside of the mountains inside of November, that would be very interesting to see. And I have to actually look up and see when's the last time we've received just snowfall in November, just in general, and just not in the mountains, but also just on a lower area, in the lower elevations instead of in the higher elevations as well. So a lot of things to take account here. But again, if it was to potentially snow, it would be on either Monday or probably around Tuesday, but around there saying like Monday, Tuesday-ish. Possibility. Still a possibility for now. And that's really all that I had to say there. I mean, there's nothing else really for me to say. I mean, the Euros has it. The GFS doesn't have it. The CMC does have it as well. Has snowfall moving in as far east as inside the PD area. Very interesting to see there. Hasn't moving throughout the upstate, haven't moving throughout the PD area. And then, let's see, does the Icon have one? Icon does as well, but the Icon is more, again, just on that it doesn't think it's going to snow side. And that is all that I have for that. Let's go on and talk about the tropics. So right now, tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days, and so that's what we've been expecting. We still have models that are out here saying, okay, well, we definitely still have to watch for some areas. At least that's what the models are saying. In fact, they're showing a lot of scenarios that could potentially show a potential storm hitting the U.S. for like the last couple of days of November. But will it happen though? The ensembles here, at least for the Euro doesn't really like that situation too much. I mean, it has some stuff going on in the Southern Caribbean, but other than that, nothing that I'm really looking at that's like, okay, we need to really watch this. Even the GEFS, same thing. If we go backwards, you can see, I mean, it has some activity. For sure going on in the Western Caribbean, but nothing that I'm really looking at that I'm like, okay, well, we have to really keep our eye on this, even though I am seeing a lot of low pressures down there inside of the Southern Caribbean. So that's something maybe to watch for. And so that is all really that I have for the tropics as well. And so the drought monitor. So far, we've had 5 votes so far, so not everyone has voted yet. If you have not voted in the poll inside the chat, go on and do so. While I wait for y'all to go on and do that, let's go on and talk with the audience, and then we'll go back to the drought monitor before we talk about San Antonio, Raleigh, Philadelphia, and then Duncan. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Also, you have to be a subscriber to the channel because the channel chat is in subscriber-only mode. We're going to start off here with Miss Tolliver first tonight. Says, lovely day at my house. Weather was just right. I don't think that we will get snow this year. Maybe a dusting in the upstate. I think that, you're correct in terms of, maybe a dusting in the upstate. Potentially a bit further east than that. But just one model run. Just one model run. I've seen scenarios where it shows a huge amount of snow come in and then nothing happened at all. So, but the fact that this is still 75 hours out, it makes it a little bit closer. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Thad says, good evening, Justified. It was a beautiful day today in San Antonio. I went on a very nice walk this morning. How are you? Glad that you got that walk in. I know we were talking about that. About you said you would walk, I believe it was either at night or in the morning. And so glad that you got a nice walk in. I'm doing great, though. Trail says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you as well. Gorgeous day here. I've been out all day. Got back home about an hour ago. Great to hear. Glad that you had a good day today. Also says, how was your day? My day was good. She also says, yeah, snow. It's possible. It is possible. We're still going to have to keep a watch on that and see what the models have to say about that. My Nana says, hello, Jay. Nice day. I enjoyed this beautiful day. Glad to hear that as well. And then Thad says, just if I wish you could see my big, beautiful moon, I can really see the craters for it. In terms of, I have a telescope. I just have to. I don't know how to use it. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say. I don't know how to use it that well. And so when I try to go in and get it like in an exact position, I don't know if I need to untighten it. I don't know if I need to tighten it. I don't know what in the world is going on with it. I got to figure that out, though. I got to figure that out how to use it because it's just getting dust in my room now. But I'll figure that out. I will figure that out whenever I can actually get a good picture of it with my phone or anything like that. Terrell says that moon is so gorgeous. And then Mr. Chris says, good evening, everyone. Sorry that I'm late. Weather in Moncks Corner was great today. Glad to hear that from you as well. So no problem at all. No problem at all. No problem at all. I actually wasn't even really supposed to be here tonight. I actually made the decision today that I was actually going to be here instead. And so, for the most part, glad that I stayed. Glad that I did stay. And so now let's go on and talk about the drought monitor. So we're going to go over here real quick. If you have no idea what the drought monitor is, it's a quick way to tell us what's going on in terms of the drought in South Carolina. And so we do a game with it. We put a poll inside of the live chat. You have to join us at 9 o'clock p.m. And right now it's a 3-way tie. It is a 3-way tie. So the 4 options, either the drought is expanded, the drought is the same / shrunk. The third option is the drought is gone, but we still have dry conditions. And then the fourth one is the drought and all dry conditions are gone. Now, the drought expanded, the drought is the same / shrunk, and then the drought and the dry conditions are gone. Those are the 3 that are tied. Nobody said that the drought is gone and it's normally dry. I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's that one. And so, if I go back, like I always do, I always go back and check and see how much rainfall did we receive over the past 7 days. And I'm not going to lie, it wasn't much. The areas where there was a drought going on did not receive too much rainfall. So, for me, I'm looking at this, and honestly, I think that the drought potentially grew. That's my prediction. I think that the drought grew for sure. But let me go on and get the other one ready just in case we might have to do like a comparison real quick for the last one. Which the last one was on the 30th. So I'll go in and look for that one, but I wasn't there for that day. So I think it actually was a Saturday right here. But let's go on now. Get the drum roll. Let's go in and reveal it. That's the wrong one. This is the right one. And so, in my opinion, if I was to go in and look at this, this honestly looks like an expansion to me. I'm be honest, I think that this definitely looks like an expansion. To me, I'm gonna pull up the one from last week to make sure, but to me, this looks like an expansion. So whoever was the 33% that said that the drought expanded, obviously, I believe that you would technically be correct, but obviously not a good thing because the drought is expanding. Now, this is what it looked like here for this week, and this is what it looked like last week. This is what it looked like last week compared to this week. You see the one up there on the top side over there inside of York County, Chester County, Lancaster. The D2, the severe drought is now gone. The severe drought is gone. But inside of the lower part, it definitely did expand. Definitely did expand. So if I just go in and take that one, I take this one. Honestly, now that I take a second look at it, I actually think that it actually may have shrunk a little bit. The drought and the abnormally dry actually may have shrunk a little bit. I think on the bottom side, it technically did increase a little bit more. But I think that it also shrunk at the same time. I think it really did both. And so if it really did both, I think that it would stay around the same. So I think that I'm just going to have to give this one to the crowd who actually said that the 33% that said that it shrunk / stayed the same. I'm going to be honest. I think that that's what it did instead. So, congratulations to the 33%. That was not me. I was not in there. I lost my win streak, but congratulations to the 33% that said that the drought is the same / shrunk. And so it just looks to me that it expanded in some places, but it shrunk in other places. And the abnormally dry definitely took a huge chunk out of it as well. And so that's just why I think that it definitely did decrease. And so that's all that I have in terms of the drought monitor. And that was it for the audience. We already talked with the audience. So let's go on and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, what 4 locations are you talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and also Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about those locations is because we have people from those areas who tune in almost nightly. And so we go on and do their forecast for them because they support us, even though their location is not even being the main one that's being talked about. And so we always start off with San Antonio first. Low temperatures tonight 61, high temperatures tomorrow 88, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 62. There is indeed no precipitation that is expected at this time, and that's actually not going to be a good thing for you because you're in a drought yourself. I know that for sure. That, and then also, if we go into Sunday for San Antonio, you're in a critical, now a 70% chance or higher of critical fire conditions. So Sunday, please do not burn anything if you don't have to, because there are going to be critical fire weather conditions that you're going to have to watch out for, and you're just going to have to be careful for. You're going to have that humidity that's going to be low. You're going to have that potentially breezy conditions, because usually with fire conditions, usually is breezy conditions. Potentially could be warm to hot, so you just got to keep that in mind. Now, for Raleigh being the next location, low temperatures tonight at 55, high temperatures tomorrow at 75, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 56. Chance of showers tonight and tomorrow night, but tomorrow during the day, no precipitation is expected. No severe weather or excessive rainfall is expected either. For Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight at 55, high temperatures tomorrow at 65, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 47. Chance of rain tonight, or actually rain is actually expected just as you go into tonight. No precipitation is expected at this time. No excessive rainfall, severe weather, you're good. And then finally, for Duncan, low temperatures tonight at 46, high temperatures tomorrow at 76, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 41. No precipitation is expected at this time. No severe weather, no excessive rainfall, anything like that. And so that's it for those 4 locations. What's going on throughout the entire U.S.? It says, quote, maybe. Hopefully. Might have to pull it up on my phone instead. But, oh no, there it goes. Quote, showers along with a few strong to severe thunderstorms are expected from the Great Lakes, New England, and south into the Ohio and Tennessee valleys. In the wake of the system, a stronger storm is expected to track from the Pacific Northwest, the plains, and through the eastern U.S. this weekend. Strong winds, showers, and a significantly large drop in temperatures are expected this weekend into Monday. So we just talked about that for the most part. We also have a fire condition that go on in southern Texas, as we talked about Sunday. We're gonna have freezing conditions going on in Oklahoma, going on or not. Doesn't seem like freezing. Freeze watch, as freezing conditions definitely are possible in Oklahoma and Arkansas as that cold front passes. We have a tornado watch, as we have had a bunch of severe weather go through right now in northern Alabama, going into Tennessee as well. And so just a lot of stuff going on. Just a lot of stuff. I mean, you can see all the storm system going on over here. As most of it's calmed down, but I mean, tornado watches are going on all the way up here into Tennessee, up into southern Kentucky, and over into northern Alabama as well. And so it looks like for the most part, that is all that I really have to say. Let's go on and talk about the top fans for tonight. It was a lot. It was a very, very good amount tonight. But in first place for the top fans of the night tonight, Trail is at number 1. I believe Mr. Chris is at number 2. And then Ms. Tolliver is at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night. If you want to be a top fan, you can. You just have to be here early. And you have to be a subscriber to the channel so you can type and be active inside of the chat. You have to be active inside of the chat. And that is all that I really have to say. So, make sure that you tune back in tomorrow morning, Saturday morning. Will I be back here tomorrow evening? Maybe. It just matters on what happens tomorrow at 9 o'clock p.m. By that time frame, just matters on what just happens tomorrow just in general. And so, I'll definitely make a post about it. Q&A question. This is pretty much the last call for it. The video will be coming out soon. So if you have not submitted your question yet for my Q&A, please go on and do it now. Or you can go on and send me a text message. If you have my phone number, you can send it to the scweather360@gmail.com email. Because that one will also work, and I can go in and get the questions from there. But again, like the last call for questions. And then other than that, I don't really see anything else really to say inside the chat either. So hopefully everyone enjoyed the forecast update. Make sure that you tune back in tomorrow morning, Saturday morning forecast update. And everyone have a fantastic rest of your Friday evening.